Ukraine's allies have agreed to a price cap on Russian oil. The G7, Australia and the EU settled on a limit of $60 per barrel on Russian crude transported by sea. The pact comes into effect on Monday, with the bloc hoping to avoid a global oil shock. That, however, may prove difficult after Russia rejected the idea and threatens to cut supply to those involved. Well, joining me now to discuss this further is Philippe Charlez, an energy expert at the Institut Sapien. Philippe, thank you so much for being with us here.
Good evening.
On France 24. So, Ukraine at first said that this price cap was a good thing. It was going to destroy Russia's economy. Then it said that it wanted a price cap of $30 per barrel. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think this is going to destroy the Russian economy?
No, I don't think so at all, because there is a very big difference between the impact with oil and with gas. For a single reason is that oil can move anywhere on the planet. You can transport easily oil by truck, by train, by boats, by pipeline. And so I'm afraid that the oil that Russia will not sell to Europe will come in another place of the world and could come back with a higher price in Europe. In fact, such a type of price cap or embargo could only work if practically all the countries of the planet could agree against that. It was relatively the case with Iran, for instance. It was also the case for Iraq after the first Gulf War. But here it's sure that, for instance, China and India and even other countries like Turkey, for instance, should not play the game. And so I'm afraid that it could be a lost game, especially for Europe, because United States is practically independent in terms of oil because of oil shale, and so I'm afraid that it will not be extremely efficient.
I'll touch on that a bit later on about the impact on Europe, but Russia has announced that it's not going to accept the cap. What does that mean? What retaliation could it unleash?
It means that so the rule would be that Europe only buy oil to Russia at $60 per barrel. Today the barrel is between $80 and $90 approximately. It has been dropped a little bit below $100 since beginning of November. But Russia will not accept, of course, both for economic reason, but also, I would say, for prouding reason. And so Russia, for sure, will sell its oil to other countries, probably with small discounts, probably at $80, for instance, but not at $60. So again, I think that there is a big risk that this oil not sold to Europe at $60 will come back to Europe at a higher price via other countries, and especially when it's refined, because you can identify the origin of oil when it's crude oil, but after refining it's absolutely impossible.
We've heard a lot about the energy crisis in Europe over the last few weeks. What are these sanctions likely to have on that currently ongoing in Europe?
I would say that, first of all, big difference between gas and oil. Here we speak essentially about oil. The embargo on oil was not really efficient. There is a good proof of that, is that in fact the price of barrel is really between $90 and $100. It was already at $100 before the war has started. So it means that finally all the action against oil that Europe made didn't really impact the price of oil. For a single reason again, oil is a world market. There is a single price of oil. Finally, the price of oil in United States, Dubai and Europe is the prices are extremely close. Which is, on the contrary, extremely different for gas, because gas is difficult to transport, oil is extremely easy to transport. This is really the key. It's extremely simple to understand.
Okay, Philippe Charlez, an energy expert at the Institut Sapien. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you.
France 24.